What is going on, everyone? Hope all of you guys are doing well. So this is going to be my predictions for NXT Stand and Deliver 2024. There are 7 matches on the card, so let's get right into it. We're going to start off with Shawn Spears versus Joe Gacy. This match should be decent. I don't really know where this feud's going. Shawn Spears, it's great to see him return, but I just feel like this feud is kind of just thrown together at the last minute. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. But if anything, I see Shawn Spears picking up the win. It only makes sense. He just came back. You want to make him look strong. And Joe Gacy, I definitely see losing. Now, there is that possibility Joe Gacy could go on to the main roster after this. But I feel like they've really, in a way, have done him dirty because Joe Gacy is great. I feel like he can do a lot in NXT and win some championships. So they really need to give him that push. They really need to put an effort into his character. But as of right now, I feel like they have no plans for him whatsoever other than just losing matches. So I see Shawn Spears picking up the win. We have Ilya Dragunov versus Tony D'Angelo for the NXT Championship. Now, this one can go either way. I'd like to see Tony D'Angelo pick up the win and see Dragunov go to the main roster like on Monday, right after Mania, or even SmackDown. But I think the long-term story is eventually he will go to Raw and take down Gunta, or the whatever you want to however you want to pronounce it, the ring general Gunther. This could go either way. You could see Gunther retain and then Dragunov lose, and that kind of clears the predictions of him showing up at Raw and fighting Gunther for the IC title. But at the same time, they may not do that. They may keep Dragunov on just a little bit longer. It's hard to say. So, if anything, I'm going with Ilya or Ilya Dragunov, however you want to pronounce it, picking up the win and retaining. We have a triple threat match. Oba Femi, Dijak, and Josh Briggs all facing each other for the NXT North American Championship. This should be a really good match, but it feels like one of those feuds that are just being put together. It feels like WWE has no idea what they're doing with Dijak, which is unfortunate. I feel like Dijak should just go back to the original gimmick he was. What is it? Dominic Dajakovic or something like that. I feel like he worked better that way. This character that Dijak is playing is just it's boring. I don't like it. I feel like it's going nowhere. Josh Briggs has potential. I feel like he is one of the stars that could eventually be NXT champion. But they really got to book him well. But I see Obafemi picking up the win. He just won the title not too long ago, so I feel like they're going to try to do what they can with his reign. But then again, NXT North American Championship has had this history of going from having long reigns to just kind of throwing it here and there, which is unfortunate. So, like I said, I'm going with Obafemi. Then we have Lyra Valkyria versus Roxanne Perez for the NXT Women's Championship. I'm going with Lyra Valkyria because Roxanne Perez has done enough. She's accomplished everything she can, and I feel like there's nothing left for her. I truly feel like that, and I feel like she's gonna make her way to the main roster, whether that's Raw or SmackDown. So I feel like she's gonna lose, and Lyra Valkyria will continue, her reign. But that I can't remember the girl's name, but the one that kind of hangs around her, I feel like is going to be the one that becomes the next number one contender. Then we have Baron Corbin and Braun Breaker, the tag team champions, taking on Axiom and Nathan Fraser. I feel like the titles are going to go over and switch hands to Nathan Fraser and Axiom. It looks like NXT is very high with them, so I feel like they are going to be the ones to get those titles. Braun Breaker is a SmackDown star now, and I feel like this was the best way to have him keep the title before he becomes, a full-time main roster star. So it makes sense for them to lose the title. It makes sense for Corbin and Breaker to lose the titles. That way Breaker can go on and do his run on SmackDown. Baron Corbin, I'm not sure what they're going to do with. Um, Technically, he is what you call a free agent. Um, so I'm sure he'll leave NXT and go somewhere else, or he'll stay and could possibly be the next in line to try again for the NXT World Championship. But they really got to push Baron. I think Baron can do it, but the way they're booking him is it's getting a little ridiculous at this point. But I'm going with Axiom and Nathan Fraser becoming new NXT champions. Then we have a 6-women tag team match. This will be Thea Hall, Fallon Henley, and Kiana Jordan versus JC Jane, Kiana James, and Izzy Dame. And no, it's Kalani Jordan. I don't know. I'm pronouncing names wrong. This one I don't care for, but I feel like they're going to give Thea Hall the win here. I feel like it makes sense with this feud, the way it's going. So I feel like they're going to give the faces the win. So yeah, I see Thea Hall, Fallon Henley, and Keelani Jordan picking up the win. I believe I pronounced that right. I could be wrong. Next, we have Carmelo Hayes versus Trick Williams in a singles match. This feud's pretty decent. I mean, you kind of could tell it was predictable because it was like the same route with Big Cass and Enzo. Oh, somebody took out Carmelo Hayes or Trick Williams. No, it was Trick Williams. That's right. And then Carmelo Hayes is like, somebody took me out. Yeah, you could tell it was the same storyline that we've seen. Excuse me. So it looks like they're trying to push Trick Williams to be this big star for NXT. So I feel like he could be the one to dethrone Dragunov. Um, but at the same time, it's kind of hard to tell. Carmelo Hayes has nothing left. I feel like this win will do nothing for him. I feel like with the push they're giving Trick Williams makes more sense. And usually, if you watch the show before a pay-per-view, usually you could tell who wins. So if Carmelo Hayes attacked Trick Williams before this pay-per-view on NXT on Tuesday, then chances are Trick Williams will pick up the win. But if Trick Williams attacked Carmelo Hayes on NXT, the NXT before Stand and Deliver, then chances are it'll be Carmelo Hayes who wins. So it's kind of one of those things that has been this little prediction, like ongoing theme. But I feel like with the push they're trying to give Trick Williams, it makes more sense because I see Carmelo Hayes going to Raw or SmackDown right after Mania. So I feel like Carmelo Hayes is going to be part of the Raw roster come Monday. That just to me makes more sense. I feel like Carmelo Hayes and Roxanne Perez and Braun Breaker are done with NXT after this show and will go on to be part of the main roster. But yeah, those are the 7 matches, but like I'm going with Trick Williams for that match. But yeah, that's the 7 matches. Some pretty great matches I feel are going to be really, really enjoyable. It looks like all the NXT championships are on the line, which is cool. I feel like every match is going to be good to some extent. I feel like maybe the Thea Hall and Shawn Spears matches will be mediocre, but the rest of the matches that are title matches are going to be the ones that really stand out. And then, of course, the Trick Williams, Carmelo Hayes will be definitely the one to watch for sure. But yeah, those are my predictions. I can't wait for the show. Should be a really good show for what it is. And I would love to hear your guys' opinion on this. So let me know what your predictions are. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Give this video a like. I'm Film Talk with Mikey. And until next time, guys, we'll talk films. Peace.